Welcome to Utah again. So this one's a little different because I tucked myself in the corner of our deck because the wind is blowing out there and things are blowing around. So the lighting may not be as good, but hey, let's take it for what it's worth. Okay, so today, day 4 of joy. I wish it wasn't so dark and stuff. Let me fix this because this one has really touched my heart when I heard this one. On my healing journey, I realized that some of the relationships I had with people or friendships I was making were not totally at my greater good for me. And where I was like going out and helping people and being of service to them because that's just normally who I am, was really taking the service away from me. So day 4 really hits home a lot for me, and I really want to hopefully share with you what it meant for me. So rejoicing as a form of joy. Like I told you, we talked about how your joy is your joy and my joy is my joy, right? And so many times when we take on this task of adulthood, we lose the fact that our teachers are our children. Now, I was blessed. I was definitely blessed with my daughter, even though she can be sassy at times. She definitely was my teacher from like day 1. I had learned from her, and it happened that when she was born was when I was going through my sickness and then onto onto becoming better. I really did dive into listening to her to have her as my teacher. So what happens is we have these children around us as our teachers, but we think because we're adults that we know all the answers. But aren't we here to learn? Aren't we here to explore one another, to be able to learn off of each other? But we forget. So like when we started out in this journey, no one had to tell you how to breathe. No one had to tell you how to walk. And no one had to tell you that if you cry, you're going to get food. You just did it because it was innate inside of you to be able to get this joy. The joy of walking, the joy of breathing, the joy of being fed. They're joyful, right? So why did we as adults, as we get older, feel that we had to go to others outside of ourselves to find our joy? We had to go to people who maybe didn't have our best interests and go to them to find our joy. We lost the one big thing about joy is to brag about yourself, because everybody here has a really, really good, everyone here has a way of being purposeful in this world. And your way is your way and brings you joy, and my way is my way, which brings me joy. And the best is we can't really be good at everything. And those who think, that's why it always has bothered me that when schools would force kids to get straight A's. Why? You can't be good at everything. I would tell my daughter that all the time. If she got a bad grade on a test, I was like, good. You can't be good at everything. At least now you know what your strengths are and what your strengths are not. Like I have learned through the years what my strengths are as a human and what my strengths are not. But what happens, I tend to do, and I've been starting to not do it, is listening to people try to tell me what is best for me. Well, that's just ridiculous. Because the only one that knows what's best for you is you. It's in your heart. Remember, we talked about when you feel that joy, it's in your heart, right? So why would we think as adults we would have to go outside of ourselves to find what's good for us when it's all right inside? So we all want love, we all want joy, and we all want happiness. But what are we getting in return? Are we getting that in return from the relationships that we have built here as humans? You do not have to get along with everybody. You do not have to have everyone as your friend. Not everyone is your friend. Not everyone has your best interest or your back. You do have to send them love and have to respect them, but you do not. I mean, so many times, and just recently too in my life, like people are like, well, send them light and love and it all good. No. They hurt me. I'm going to accept that hurt. I'm going to deal with that hurt and understand that hurt. And then I'm just going to send them love and move them on their way. It doesn't mean I have to have them in my life, right? You don't have to surround yourself by people who are not there to brag about you, to build you up, to show you your goodness. You don't have to surround yourself with that. And it can't be better said than in Proverbs 27. I encourage you all to read Proverb 27. It is really, it takes a minute. Go somewhere quiet and actually just read it. And it tells you so much there what Solomon was trying to say at this time. Now look at the sun's coming out. I look pale, and the wind is stopping. Okay, because this is how important Jesus wants you to know. Proverb 27. Jesus. One thing before I go into this is Jesus was taught by many different people on how to go out and preach. He didn't just wake up one day and know how to preach. Let's be real. He had to go and learn it himself. And then when he came back, he was like, how is the best way for me to get my thoughts across to everybody? So he did it through nature. So he would take little signs in nature and show them how you as a human have that same kind of nature ability inside you. So sometimes when I go to do these videos, I'm like, okay, Jesus is the right part. Just make the wind stop or something. So I don't know. You could take that for what it's worth. I believe in it. So it makes me joyful. So I'm just bragging, man. That's all I'm doing. Bragging about myself. I'm joyful. And I encourage you all to brag, which gives me to Proverbs 27:9. Perfume and incense brings joy to the heart, and the pleasantness of a friend springs from their heart-filled advice. Okay, so the perfume and incense brings joy to the heart. So we've got that smell that we talked about. And the pleasantness of a friend, almost just like the same kind of scent, springs from their heartfelt advice. Because when you have that joy for yourself and you go and talk with a friend and their advice hits your heart, it brings you joy. But if their advice hits your heart and doesn't bring you joy, that you can't like even find the joy in it. It's not saying they have to say everything is hunky-dory and everything's beautiful, because the Proverbs is really cool to go read back, because it talks about how you may not like what you hear, but know that it's there to give you joy. Okay? And so I'm going to read that again. Proverbs 27:9. Perfume and incense brings joy to the heart, and the pleasantness of a friend springs from their heartfelt advice. Okay? Then you've got Proverbs 27:11. Be wise, my son, and bring joy to my heart. Then I can answer anyone who treats me with contempt. Yeah, when you have that joy in your heart, and you know and you believe in your heart that you are doing the right thing, there's really not too much that anybody else can say to bring you down. So with that said, joy in your heart, listening to your children, this whole proverb is really, really powerful. So here's the action step for today. I invite you to look at the relationships you have. That's with your friends, your family, your coworkers, anybody. And are they making your heart rejoice? Or are they making you feel defensive, sad, and hurt? Do you feel like you're always on like the edge? Like, oh no, I've got to defend myself. I've got to defend my joy. No one should ever defend their joy. Your joy is your joy, remember. So you shouldn't have to go out there and defend it. If you don't want to do something because it doesn't feel joyful in your heart, you don't need to defend yourself, right? So then you want to do that. And if it's the latter, if your friendships and these relationships are making you feel defensive, sad, and hurt, I invite you to look in the mirror. This is where it gets tough. This is where it gets true. Look in the mirror into your soul, straight on. And I always tell my clients, like, look with your eyes like this into that mirror, because then the eyes are going to dart all over the place. But wait until you get to those eyes in that mirror and tell yourself how cool you are. Brag to yourself. Because if you build that relationship within yourself, then no matter what anybody says out there, it doesn't matter, because it's your joy, it's your understanding. And do it until you can look deeply into your eyes and say, I love you. You're cool. I really like hanging out with you. You make me joyful. You bring joy to my heart. And then take all the time you need to do that. And I will promise you that you will rejoice and be bragging about yourself, not boastfully. You're not better than anybody. You're just bragging about your joyful needs and the things that you're good at. And then all of a sudden, all these people who tend to bring this sadness or disruption into your life are just going to gently flow away. Because they're just going to gently flow away, because they're not going to vibrate the same as you. And then you're going to allow people to come into your life that vibrate the same as you. That's how it works. You don't have to be in a situation. I mean, if you're at work and there's a coworker that's driving you crazy, yes, you have to work with them, but it's how you react to your joyfulness in your heart. It's how you react to yourself. It's how you have that loving feeling in your heart that is going to vibrate out to everybody else, that you do not have to take any kind of hurtfulness, sadness, or pain, or discomfort, because we're all here for the same thing: to love one another, have joy, and have happiness. And if it doesn't bring you that, it's not that you have to tell anybody that. It's not that you have to go out there and tell people that you don't bring me joy. It is about you finding that inner joy in your heart so that you vibrate that out, so you just get more of it back. If you want to vibrate being pissed off because your worker just keeps driving you in and this, that, I'm going to promise you, you're going to get more of that. But if you want to vibrate love and affection and for yourself, because it's in your heart, then I'm going to promise you, you're going to get so much more of that. So really, this all comes down to one thing. It all starts with you. I know this one was a little bit longer. I'm sorry for that. But it all starts with you. It all starts with you finding that inner joy in your heart and bragging about yourself so that you can understand your joy. So I truly, truly, before you even do this assignment or even think about this action steps, I truly say Google Proverb 27. Even if you don't have a Bible around or anything, just Google Proverb 27. It's beautifully written, beautifully said. Find the one that resonates with you, that maybe doesn't use words that you don't understand or whatever. And there you have it. I hope you're enjoying this series. I would love some feedback so that I know, because so much more is coming to me and I'm really enjoying sharing this time with you. So there you have it. If you believe, if this resonates with you, in the comments is hashtag joy in the heart. How about we do that today? I forgot to put that in the thing. Action steps will be down there too. And I wish you all so much joy in your heart, so much love, so much happiness, because why? You're worth it. I'm worth it. We're all worth it.